Hey guys, what is up? Big Red Reviews here, and I cannot stop thinking about Oppenheimer. If you guys don't know, or if you haven't seen, I made a Barbenheimer review. It came out yesterday. I reviewed both Barbie and Oppenheimer. They were kind of like fast reviews because I did it both in one video. But I mentioned that I really loved Oppenheimer the most, and this movie has been stuck with me since I finished it 2 days ago, and I need to go see it again. I just can't stop thinking about it. I really think it's deserving of its own video. This film is phenomenal. I haven't felt a way, besides Everything Everywhere All at Once, told you I do mention it, I haven't felt this way about a movie in forever. In the sense that, like, the message it sends, the way it leaves you, everything is just incredible. There are a couple scenes that I do want to talk about. First, I'm going to do a quick non-spoilery review just so people who are here who haven't seen the film can, still get my review on it. I give this movie, honestly, a 10 or 11 out of 10. That's how good it is. The score by Ludwig Göransson is incredible. If you don't know, he did Black Panther, he did Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and now this movie, and it's just incredible. The main thing that, especially at the ending scene that plays, just gives me goosebumps, and it perfectly fits Oppenheimer's mentality, mindset, and whatever scene he's in. Sound editing, amazing. You'd actually hear dialogue in this film. If you guys don't know, Christopher Nolan's known for like some of his films being hard to understand because he has a giant like bass in the background you can't hear. But this movie didn't really have that problem. And the build-up of these scenes is incredible. First off, the whole opening part where you're seeing Oppenheimer go through his early life is beautifully edited with like just quick shots of like a nuke going off and all he's talking about. And this is obviously carried by Cillian Murphy. I mean, I was glued to the screen, and he was in most of the shots, like 99% of the shots in this film. And the other percentage of shots that he wasn't in were carried by like RDJ and all the other actors. I mean, every actor that's in this film does phenomenally. I mean, and there's like smaller actors. I mean, dude, Roderick from Die of One Kid is in this film, and he's in like a couple scenes, but he kills it. I mean, Rami Malek has one or two scenes, and the one scene that he does have that's big is at the end. It's only a couple minutes, but it's like still like he owns it, and it's like these actors just don't come to play. And when it's Christopher Nolan, you're gonna expect greatness. I knew some about what went into making the nuclear bomb. I knew about the Trinity test already, and obviously, I mean, if you even have heard of Oppenheimer once, you've heard about his famous quote from the Hindu scriptures where he said, "I have become death, the destroyer of worlds," which he said that he thought of when he saw the nuclear bomb go off. You do hear it. You don't see the interview he gives, but you do hear him say it twice. Once when he's having a little sex scene with Florence Pugh, and another scene where the nuke's actually going off. Let's talk about my two probably favorite scenes in the whole movie. Hey guys, Editor Joey here. Just a quick little thing. A scene that I forgot to mention, I don't know how I forgot, was... So there's basically three scenes, but this scene that I forgot to mention was the scene where he gives a speech right after the Trinity test is a success, and he's basically losing it, right? The background starts shaking because he's having a little panic attack, and you find out that the sound of him having a panic attack, which is like the doom, 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 is actually the sound of people's feet clapping in that thing. And then it just cuts to all of a sudden you hear screaming, you see him step on a charred body, and he starts having a panic attack, and the cheers are just drowned out. That might be my favorite scene in the movie, but these next two are really close, so I can't really choose, but I don't know why I forgot to mention that scene. And one is the whole Trinity test scene. I don't even know where to say it begins or ends, but also I'm going to be talking about some spoilers a little bit here. Like, the whole build up to the Trinity test is like 30 minutes. Like, you see them finally putting the bomb together. The whole movie is basically a build. The first 2/3 of the movie is a build up towards the Trinity test. The whole hour after the Trinity test is like the court hearings and all this stuff. This whole build up, the whole movie you're getting closer to 1945. And what is 1945? The Trinity test, which happens in July. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which are in August. And you're getting closer. You're in 1942. You're in 1943. All of a sudden, there's a scene where we're in April 1945. Hitler killed himself. And you're like, oh my God, we're a couple months out. And that's when it really starts getting into high gear, where you see them start building the bomb. They set up the tower. They bring it out there. And just the slow score build-up is phenomenal by Ludwig Göransson. It's like the slow build of the music, louder and louder. And you finally get to the explosion, and it's quiet. And I love that. I saw a lot of people online saying, like, that's it. And yeah, because that's literally what it is. They're 20 miles away from the bomb. And and like you're expecting something. When you think of nuclear bomb, you're thinking you're expecting a big explosion, but no, you're seeing this in a first person view from Oppenheimer. So he's looking at it, it's quiet, you see in his face like instantly change. He's like, what have I done? You hear him say, I have become death, the destroyer of worlds. And then you get the shockwave. The shockwave is what really caused a lot of people anxiety, because you're waiting for the shockwave to come. Like, you know it's coming, it's gonna be loud as hell, and it is loud. But that whole scene, phenomenal. The other scene I want to talk about, and the main reason I'm even making this video, is because the ending scene. Nolan is known for his endings. Think Inception, right? Think Interstellar. Even think Tenet, right? They make you think. They make you pause and think about what you just watched and keep thinking, right? That's why this movie is stuck with me. Because the ending of this movie just poses all these questions that are just as relevant today as they were in the 1940s and 50s and 60s. Like, we're always on the verge of something big. We have tensions with Russia, the U.S., all these people have tension. We're talking about, this talks about World War III, nuclear bombs and stuff. This movie came out at a perfect time to encapsulate this fear into one man who made the bomb, which is Oppenheimer. You get this scene where finally, so throughout the whole movie, and even in the beginning, you see him talk to Albert Einstein. When Albert Einstein's walking away, he walks past Strauss, which is Robert Downey Jr.'s character. He's basically the villain, and he doesn't say anything to Robert Downey Jr., his character, Strauss. And you find out that Strauss thinks like Oppenheimer's talking shit about him, when in reality they weren't even talking about Strauss. That like every scientist just knows Strauss is a bad person. But you get this great scene where, if you guys don't know quick, when they were going to launch the nuclear bomb, they actually there was like a small chance from their data that when they set the nuclear bomb off, this splitting of electrons and all that, and this fire could spread. And so they thought that there was a small chance that it could spread around the whole atmosphere and essentially end the world. Now obviously that didn't happen, but that was a very big thing that they were worried about. But that didn't happen. So anyways, he brings that paper to Einstein. Einstein doesn't want anything to do with it. That's in the middle of the movie. At the end, Oppenheimer brings it up. Actually, let's talk about how, so Oppenheimer loses his security clearance. If you don't know, the government basically kind of like fucked him over, because he kept saying how we should not be using these nuclear bombs, and they basically like ostracized him. And then finally, like right before he died in the 60s, they gave him an award. Finally, he didn't get his security clearance back till 2022, which was last year, which is insane to me. But Albert Einstein basically predicts it to him. He's like, they're gonna welcome you back. They're gonna give you an award. They're gonna be happy for you, but they're going to want to shake your hand, but it's not for you, it's for them. And you get the amazing scene with Emily Blunt not shaking that one scientist's hand, because she knows they're doing it for them and they're trying to cover their own ass. And that's what Oppenheimer says, Einstein, he says, Albert, I came to you a couple years ago and talked about how we could set off a chain reaction. I think we already did. That's the last line of the movie. And you see these couple shots of him in the plane seeing the B-2 bombers and the rockets going off and his biggest fear, and you just see the world getting encased in fire, and all through that amazing stare and eye acting that Cillian Murphy does so well. And you see him blink and the movie's over. And that's how it ends. Obviously with Ludwig's beautiful score. And that has been stuck with me forever. Everyone was silent. This whole movie is phenomenal. I love this movie, 10 out of 10. But the final, I'd say from the Trinity test on, is some of the best cinema I've ever seen. You get the Trinity test, and then after that, you're just like, wow, like this was the moment they were building up to. Nope, we're going to have this whole finale of all these court hearings you've been seeing. You've been seeing two different types of court hearings throughout the whole movie. They come together in one, and he almost kind of pulls a twist on you, which is funny because it's history, but Nolan knows some people don't know this, so he pulls a twist on what happens. I don't want to say exactly, even though I'm talking about some spoilers, because it is kind of cool if you haven't seen it. But, wow, I mean, and people are talking about how Barbie beat it at the box office, and Barbie was a phenomenal film. I gave it a 10, and I still stand by that. But Barbie was always going to beat Oppenheimer, right? And it's not about, and the beauty of Barbenheimer was, it wasn't about Barbie or Oppenheimer. It's Barbie and Oppenheimer. Both movies did phenomenal. Barbie's making $340 million opening weekend. I want to put this in perspective for Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is a 3-hour-long character study, dialogue-heavy, politic-heavy movie, rated R, and it made $150 million against an $100 million budget. That is insane to me. Nolan is one of the best filmmakers of our generation, probably of all time. He didn't even go to film school, and that's really inspiring to me and people who are into film, but I never really wanted to go to school for it because I was scared if I go to school, I might lose my passion for it, I mean, you're seeing more and more directors coming out who haven't been to film school. Nolan and Tarantino are the biggest two I can think of. And he does it again. Please go see this movie, guys. I'm going to see it again this weekend. I'm taking my mom and some friends who haven't seen it. And I'm just so excited for them to see it. But I'm so excited to just get to those moments again because I'm blown away. See this in IMAX. You have to. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys as always. Bye-bye.